Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Folu Agoi from Nigeria. Um, I well, my educational background, right? I'm a teacher by profession with NC, BEd in English, then MA educational management, and another MA in English language. And now I'm doing my PhD at Babcock University. So I'm a writer primarily, but my 9 to 5 is still at the school, at the College of Education. MOCPE, that's Michael Otedola College of Education, Ekwe. That's where I teach. I'm in the Department of English. Yeah, I joined Penn Nigeria around 1998, 99. That was the very first meeting of writers, first attempt of writers to come together and really establish the Nigerian Center of Penn. It was a natural thing for me then, because then I'd been writing poems and stuff. I was an active member of ANA, Association of Nigerian Authors. And then so it was just natural for me to have been invited by some members of the literary community in Lagos to come over and see what was going on. And I got there and I met Professor Femi Oshofison, then Dr. Remi Raji, Professor Akachi Zebu, and then the rest of them. And then we're trying to, so the effort, in fact, we had several meetings within 1 year, almost having monthly meetings just to fine tune the establishment of Penn Nigeria. So you can say that from the inception of Penn in Nigeria, from the beginning of the idea of Penn Nigeria was when I joined. And for me, it was a natural, because I was a writer and I was a strong member of of ANA, that's Association of Nigerian Authors in Lagos. And so when the idea of Penn was introduced, I didn't have any reason to think twice before coming over. And that was when, and I was even part of the Constitution Drafting Committee of Penn Nigeria. I became president of Penn Nigeria on October 7, 2017. And after 3 years, we organized an election in January, on the 30th of January this year, 2021, and I was re-elected. I would say we are over 50, really. But we're talking about active members, where we can say we are around 45 active members. That's some achievement, because a lot of people never knew things about Penn, before we came on board. And then there was that notion that Penn should be restricted to the established writers, to the very old members of the literary community. And then but we got there, and I felt that we needed people to take over from us by the time we leave the stage. And so we need the youth, we need the young ones among us for their energy, even creative energy and physical energy. And so that was why we decided to really push Penn out. And then we can see the reaction of people, a lot of people who had been bubbling with energy, a lot of energy, creative energy, not knowing how to get an outlet for such, had been very active in Penn, coming around to join Penn Nigeria. And to me, it's a great achievement. Well, I'm not really thinking of that, of gender issues, although Penn really, we hold the issue of diversity, in sense of whether gender or age or whatever. In our activities, we try to bring in women, girls and women to our fold. There's a way in which some women really feel marginalized by men in their attempt to become writers. And that was even the reason for the establishment of women writers of Nigeria. But it's moribund now, and so that's one thing. But at Penn, we follow the UN calendar, and in September we celebrate girls. We have International Day of the Girl Child, and we go to schools to really motivate, get young girls motivated. And then we have March 8th every year is International Women's Day, and traditionally we don't miss the celebrations in Penn, especially in Penn, Nigeria. We have always been paying a lot of attention to that. And so we have we don't have any gender issues in Penn, Nigeria, because our membership is really not tilted towards any particular sex. We have a lot of men and a lot of women, and then nobody feels neglected or marginalized, and everybody's happy. And then because there's something for everyone to do. Of Stones was published, I think in about 13 years before the publication of Silver Lining, and that for me was a long period of inactivity, at least along that literary line, and so when I became president of Penn, the first thing I promised was that we're going to be having an anthology published every year. In fact, we needed a website with which we would be able to publish some online journals or anthologies. But beyond that, we said we're going to be publishing a real book every year. And then so Silver Lining was the first one, and it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy getting people to contribute articles to, because we're just coming out, and some people really didn't know things about Penn, and it would seem as if Penn, Nigeria was maybe comatose or asleep by the time we got there. And so we needed to really convince a lot of people. And so we worked very, very hard, going extra mile. I was able to convince the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, and after quizzing me and we didn't have too much difficulty persuading him to send in his poem, and he did, for which we are eternally grateful. And then with that, I really went after so many writers, both home and abroad. The Niyi Osundare's, the Tanure Ojaide's, Akachi Ezegbo is one of us. She's the co-editor of the anthology, actually. And then Professor Professor Femi Oshofison, who was the first president of Penn, Nigeria. So we got everybody, and then yes, it wasn't easy at all, especially the editing aspect of it, because we really, at the point, we went into some camp for 3 days, having a conference editing, and then so we had editing at various levels. First, the conference editing aspect, and then next step was when Professor Akachi Ezegbo and myself really took over the manuscripts, and then started going through and all that. It wasn't easy, and even the funding. Well, Penn International actually funded it, but somehow, I didn't give an accurate figure, or something just happened, and then so we really needed money to complete the project, and so we called on members of Penn. And then a lot of them really donated generously. They saw the activity, they saw the zeal and the enthusiasm which they responded to, and then they cooperated, and then with their cooperation, we were able to get the book out. And then so the success of that publication, judging from the reactions of the public to the publication, was what really encouraged us to go further. And then during the time of COVID, there was lockdown all over the world. We said, yes, we must document our experiences in a form of another book, another anthology. I thought my idea then was, since everybody was locked down and there was no movement, so let's just have some online publication, online anthology. But well, from the way people are reacting, after seeing the cover illustration and the content and the quality and the quantity of the anthology, a lot of people are now clamoring and saying that we should get it out, and then have the print edition, the hard copy, and then that's something we didn't actually budget for. And well, it's going to be one of our next projects, really, because that anthology is too precious to just be restricted online from the reaction of people. And so that's one thing telling us that we are really on the right track, and it's encouraging. Yeah. The main challenge has to do with the environmental factor. PEN Nigeria is meant to be an association of writers in Nigeria affiliated to PEN International. But as it is now, because of the problem of insecurity in the country, we cannot reach out to fellow writers outside Lagos, because we are meant to cover the whole of the federation, the north, the east, apart from the south, and the west. We are meant to be having functions in Kano, in Abuja, but because of the problem in the country, it's very dangerous now to move around. And so that's one of the reasons why our activities are restricted just around the southwest, especially in Lagos. Even moving to Ibadan is one big risk, which is unfortunate. That's a major problem. Thank you very much. It's a very sad reality of our situation in Nigeria. And even the fact that history got expunged from the syllabus, from the curriculum for so many years, well, it's tragic. It's something about the tragedy of a nation that doesn't want to know things about its past. And how do you chart a course forward when you don't care about your past, which will have an impact on the present and the future? It's one of the reasons why we actually responded to the call for us to submit documents and materials for the publication of the centenary documents, and it's because of our recognition of the value of history, the value of institutional memory, which is a problem around here. There's something said, well, it's a reality that there are certain things you want to know about yourself, about our history, about our past experiences, including the civil war that we had in the 60s and all that if you really need to know, have detailed knowledge of all those things, you have to travel abroad to maybe to London or Harvard or so, to go and find things about your own history, which is really saying something about our sense of history. And then the fact that we as you said, that we don't care about documentation of and then institutional memory. And so the first thing about PEN is the fact that at least for you to be qualified to be a member of PEN, you must have that literary interest. Then you must be scholarly, so to speak. You must have some interest in scholarship. That will mean that you have the unique value of intellectual activity, intellectual materials like the value of records, keeping records and history and documentation and institutional memory. And so I think it's just natural for us as members of PEN, as well, administrators of PEN Nigeria, to really feel excited about the notion of documenting the history of PEN. and it's like gold to us, because oftentimes a lot of people want to know things about pen. They want to know, there are so many questions that a lot of people have about pen that we may not be able to answer, leaning on our memory, something about moving, passing on tradition from generation to generation through word of mouth, which is an archaic method of transmission of knowledge. But with this documentation, this thing just be very easy, and then with the use of the internet and so much other platforms, the e-library and online platforms and all that, it will be easy for us to know, for everybody to know things about our activities, about pen, and it should be something about transparency that we have been talking about, which some of the government functionaries really don't feel too comfortable.